The first birds emerged on Earth around 225 million years ago. Today, there are around 10,000 different bird species that exist on Earth. They come in a wide range of different shapes and sizes, and while most are cute and harmless, there are some that are much more terrifying. So prepare yourselves to enter a world of sharp talons, poisonous feathers, and aggressive tempers as we take a look at 15 terrifying birds from the past and the present.
Help me.
Number 15. Hooded Pituhui. Native to the island of New Guinea in the Pacific Ocean, the hooded pituhui looks at first like to be any other species of tropical bird, but this is one that you should definitely be cautious around. They live in the forests of the island, where they often form flocks of as many as 20 individuals to work together in breeding, taking care of their young and foraging for their main food sources of fruits, seeds, and small insects. Growing to around 9 inches or about 23 centimeters long, they're identifiable by their black and chestnut-colored plumage, as well as their unique song that echoes through their habitat. In their environment, they do, however, face threats from a number of different predators and have developed a clever way of ensuring most won't even try to catch them. Every part of their body has detectable levels of potent neurotoxins, with the greatest concentrations being in their skin and feathers. Rather than producing these toxins themselves, they are thought to absorb them from a specific type of beetle that they eat, and despite not being poisonous enough to kill a human, they Number 12. Endigalornis. The Endigalornis, which is also known as Stulit's terror bird, was a species that roamed the open grasslands of Argentina around 5 million years ago. It was a time when animals of all types were much larger than they are today, and despite artists' impressions of making the Endigalornis look friendly, it's likely that it was one of the fiercest predators of all. At 5 feet tall, it's thought that they weighed as much as 110 pounds or 50 kilos. This would have made them too heavy to be able to fly, but they easily made up for that with their bulk and strength. Their powerful legs would have allowed them to quickly move along the ground, but the most frightening thing about them was their beaks. said to be guillotine-like, and hooked at the tip, they would have easily been able to take down prey of a similar size to themselves, or perhaps even larger. The blade-like beak would have torn through flesh and have been a formidable threat to virtually any other creature that was alive at the time. To make them even deadlier, some researchers believe that they probably hunted in packs and would have approached targets from multiple different directions. Although, as we only know about them from their fossils, this is a theory that's yet to be proven. Number 11. Northern goshawk. Native to regions across Europe, Asia, and North America, the northern goshawk is a large species of raptor that's closely related to eagles, harriers, and buzzards. Growing up to 27 inches or about 69 centimeters long, and with a wingspan of up to 50 inches or 127 centimeters, they're normally the largest bird of prey within the regions where they live, and are a dominating sight in the sky when they're hunting or defending their territory. They will hunt virtually anything that's large enough to provide a substantial meal, but small enough for them to fly off with, and this is what makes them such an astonishing but at times terrifying species. They are highly adaptive and will use a variety of techniques to remain hidden until the very last moment, and will then swoop in and take mammals and any birds, often in complete silence. It is for this reason that they're renowned with poultry farmers, with a single goshawk able to take dozens of chickens in a day if they aren't properly protected. Because of this, they were ruthlessly hunted by the people during the 19th and early 20th centuries to protect livestock and to protect against rumors that some had, on occasion, even taken human babies. Number 10. Titanus walleri. Thought to have lived in the region that's now North America from 5 to 2 million years ago, the Titanus walleri is a species of terror bird that would have been one of the apex predators wherever they were. From various fossils that have been found, we know that they grew to approximately 6.2 feet or 1.9 meters tall and would have weighed up to 330 pounds or 150 kilos. This means they wouldn't have been able to fly, but the combination of their incredibly sharp talons along with an axe-like beak, and that they were probably one of the most efficient carnivores to have ever hunted on the continent. They had thicker necks and bulkier heads than other species of terror birds, and this likely indicates they were far more physical in the way that they attacked. Believed to have been able to run at speeds of up to 40 miles an hour, or about 65 kph, it has been theorized that while they would have typically hunted smaller mammals, they would have also been able to take on prey of a similar size to themselves by running into them, tackling them, and then using their talons to slice the neck before their victim had any chance to respond. Number 9. Chias. Despite growing to just 19 inches or 48 centimeters long, chias have been a controversial species of bird in their native New Zealand for more than a century, mainly as the result of their unusual intelligence. They're a type of parrot, the only one that's endemic to mountainous regions, and they typically keep to an omnivorous diet whereby they'll feed mainly on berries and leaves, and will occasionally scavenge from carcasses that they discover. They've been seen to use tools or to solve puzzles in order to reach food, however, and will work together with other chias to do so. And this became a big problem for farmers in the mid-19th century, when flocks of sheep began being kept in the same habitats. They soon found sheep with horrific wounds, particularly during the winter months. There were several reports of farmers witnessing firsthand a flock of chias meticulously attacking the necks and legs of the animals to incapacitate them, and would begin eating their flesh before they had died. Once reports of this had become widespread, thousands of chias were hunted in order to protect the livestock, and while they're now a protected species, their numbers have struggled to recover. There remains a debate, too, as to whether it was actually chias that were responsible for the countless sheep deaths, but with other reports of them attacking dogs and horses, along with suspicions that they were natural predators of moa before they became extinct, it seems more than likely. Number 8. Haast's eagle. Because of the lack of mammals in New Zealand before they were introduced by people, the country had one of the widest varieties of bird species found anywhere on Earth. Probably the most frightening one that's now long extinct was called the Haast's eagle. It was the largest species of eagle ever to have known to exist. With a wingspan of up to 10 feet or about 3 meters and weighing as much as 20 pounds or 9 kilos, their gigantic size is thought to have been a direct response to the large flightless birds that also once lived on New Zealand's South Island. While their wingspan is broadly equivalent to the largest eagles of today, their bulk allowed for much more powerful legs, larger and sharper talons, and substantially stronger lift ability, meaning they could have easily attacked and killed a moa, which weighed up to 500 pounds, with ease. With the lack of other competing species, they would have torn the carcass to pieces over a period of several days and continued to support the relatively high daily intake required to maintain their bulk. It was only in the 15th century, with the arrival of the first Maori people who hunted the moa to extinction, that the Haast's eagle became extinct too, because of the loss of their primary food source. Number 7. Shrikes. Despite being no more than 10 inches or about 25 centimeters long, with the ability to look twice their size if you include their elongated tail feathers, shrikes are some of the most terrifying birds on Earth. They don't pose a threat at all to humans, but the hunting techniques of these carnivorous animals are what nightmares are made of. They have hooked beaks in a similar way to birds of prey, but they aren't necessarily sharp or strong enough to tear into flesh, so they use their environment to help make the most of every meal. In a horrifying twist, this often sees them capturing insects and small animals and then impaling their corpses on thorns and other sharp spikes, such as on fences, which not only help them to eat their food, but also act as a store that they can return to over several days. There are actually 34 known species of shrike, and they are found across Europe, Asia, and North America. Often also known as butcher birds, they all behave in this way, and it's likely that if you ever see an insect, mouse, or lizard impaled somewhere, then this isn't by chance, and is in fact a purposeful act by a shrike. Number 6. Argentavis. As far as we know, the Argentavis magnificens was the second largest species of flying bird to ever live, beaten only by the Pelagornis sandersii. Also known as the giant teratorn, they were native to South America, particularly modern-day Argentina, around 7 million years ago. Only a limited number of fossils have ever been found. Based on these, it's been estimated that the species could grow to have a wingspan of around 21.5 feet, or 6.5 meters, and when they were stood on the ground, would have probably been equal in height to an average adult human. Amazingly, despite this size, they were most likely very proficient flyers, although would have relied favorably on wind currents to launch them into the air in the first place. This is why they thrive so well in Argentina, where the mountainous regions would have given plenty of opportunity to leap from a cliff edge, use the upwinds to soar into the sky. One interesting thing that's been noted about their bone structure, however, is that they weren't particularly suited to hunting prey, meaning they would have either had a fully plant-based diet or followed other predators to scavenge meat that was left behind from a kill. Number 5. Griffon vulture. Native to mountainous regions of Europe, North Africa, and Asia, the griffon vulture is one of the world's largest species of vulture, typically growing to around 4 feet or 1.2 meters long, and having a wingspan of up to 9.2 feet or about 2.8 meters. They look exactly how you'd expect a vulture to be, with a white neck ruff, a yellow bill, and dark feathers. And like their relatives, they are scavengers. One of the benefits of having their nests in the mountains is that this extends the range that they can fly around in search of carcasses, and as soon as one finds a decent meal, it'll begin grunting and hissing, which will attract others in too. Griffon vultures, however, aren't as passive as you might expect, and when there's been a lack of food for a while, they've been known to resort to other methods to find a meal. As scavengers, they aren't equipped with the hunting abilities of birds of prey, for example, but they certainly have their size as an advantage. It's therefore not too uncommon to hear stories of these birds nudging animals off the edges of cliffs or herding them towards other predators, and then simply waiting around until their target has died before they can swoop in and take their reward. Number 4. Kelenken. With the first fossils found in 1999 in Argentina, the Kelenken is believed to have been the largest species of terror bird to have ever existed. Named after a mythical demon of the Tehuelche, which is by far the largest of any known bird. Furthermore, the size of the skull along with the size of their leg bones would suggest that they were some of the fastest birds to ever live and would have had an extraordinarily powerful bite force. It's lucky for us that they died out before humans first began to emerge, because our ancestors wouldn't have stood a chance against them. Number 3. Lammergeier. The lammergeier, which is often known as the bearded vulture, is a type of bird of prey that's native to large swaths of mountainous regions across Europe, Asia, and Africa. They grow to around 4 feet or 1.25 meters long, with a wingspan of about 9 feet or 2.8 meters, and are known for their unusually narrow wings, and unlike other vultures, the fact that they don't have bald heads. Amazingly, as much as 90% of their diet is made up of bone, which they scavenge from carcasses. But again, they differ from most other vultures in the way that they also hunt live animals. Their favorite, according to researchers, are tortoises, but it's not uncommon to see them attacking animals that are a similar size as them, such as hares, marmots, or even monitor lizards. Historically, these were incredibly unpopular birds because they became renowned for taking livestock and, on occasion, human babies, and this led to them regularly being hunted during the 19th century. By the 20th century, they had virtually vanished from the Alps as a result of this, and they are now one of the most endangered birds in Europe. Recently, efforts have been made to reintroduce them to some regions, though, which, while great for the ecosystem, will likely reintroduce the threat they pose to people and livestock, too. Number 2. Pterodactyl. Possibly the most famous extinct flying animal of all is the pterodactyl, which was the first species of pterosaur to be identified as a flying reptile. They lived around 150 million years ago, with virtually every confirmed fossil being found in modern-day Germany. They were surprisingly small, with an estimated wingspan of around 3 feet or about a meter, but this shouldn't be seen as meaning they weren't dangerous because with around 90 conical, razor-sharp teeth in their mouths, they were highly effective predators. It's likely that they were generalist carnivores, which means they would have hunted anything they encountered that was of the same size or smaller than themselves. But there's also evidence that they may have hunted in packs, something that would have enabled them to take down much larger prey. Rather than having wings coated in feathers like modern-day birds, pterodactyls instead had ones made up of stretched skin and muscle, which was kept rigid by keratin and collagen fibers. This would have given them great control over their flying, and some researchers believe meant that they were far more agile in the air than any other flying animals that we're familiar with today. Number 1. Cassowary. Cassowary, which are native to Australia and New Guinea, are the third largest species of bird that are alive today, behind ostriches and emus. They are, however, far more aggressive and are probably the most dangerous birds you could ever encounter. Growing as tall as 6.5 feet or about 2 meters, they have stunning colorations around their heads and necks, but have dark feathers across the rest of their bodies. They also have an unusual skin-covered casque on their heads, which is firm to the touch as it's made from keratin. And on their 3-toed feet, they have one particularly frightening claw that's razor sharp and can be as long as 5 inches or 12 centimeters. With the ability to run at speeds of up to 30 miles or 50 kilometers per hour through dense forest, capable of jumping up to 5 feet or 1.5 meters high, and highly adept at swimming across wide rivers or in ocean waters, you'd think that the cassowaries were highly efficient carnivores. But the reality is these adaptations are mainly for defense, and their diet is mainly made up of fruits and small insects. They're also fairly shy animals and will sense your presence long before you know one is close, so they can run or hide. But if you come face to face with one, it's probably you that should be more frightened. There's a reason why they're often said to be the world's most dangerous bird, and why when American troops were stationed in New Guinea during the Second World War, they were advised to stay well clear. Their defense technique is to kick with their powerful legs, and the presence of the sharp claw means this is able to deliver a sharp and deadly blow. There have been a number of accounts of dogs falling victim to cassowary, and a surprising number of people too, most of whom mistakenly thought the birds were friendly at first and tried to feed them before being attacked. The most recent known event to have taken place was in 2019 in Florida, where a man who owned one as a pet fell to the ground and was swiftly clawed to death before he had any chance of calling for help. Watch our Animals playlist for more top 15 videos about animals. Sit back, relax, and binge watch all of our best animal-related videos.